State SEC Volleyball Tournament. Watch yourself. Kentucky and the top 4 seeds have joined the chat here in Savannah. Their first matchup will be the Auburn Tigers, coming in at number 8 ranked in this tournament. Eva Hudson and Brooklyn DeLay for UK, the superstar outsides. With an SEC tournament title on mind, the Auburn Tigers, boy, they've been through the ringer yesterday, came out with an incredible victory. Their star Lauren Dreves, more on her in a moment as they get ready to once again wear the colors. A look at the bracket. This is the last time we're going to show you all these teams. For 3 days we have dropped 4 and added 4 to get to this quarterfinal round. Another 4-match day for you. Kentucky, Auburn first, Tennessee, Florida. We'll be with you for that one. Then Texas A&M, Vandy, Texas and Ole Miss. This is why they play the matches, because the lower seeds, they've got a shot. Welcome inside, everybody. Kevin Barnett alongside Missy Whittemore. We'll have our sideline reporter, Leah Edmond, in just a moment. Missy, 2 teams obviously fighting for an SEC tournament title, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, for Kentucky, the number 2 team in the country, they are playing this weekend to protect a top 4 seed and the opportunity to host an NCAA regional. But for Auburn, a team who's 60 in the RPI, the postseason starts now. They have been searching for a signature win all year. Could today be the day?
Could be. They went down 0-2 yesterday and, in fact, lost their star outside hitter, Lauren Dreves, at the end of that set. We thought at the time we were not going to see her for the rest of the set. We did not. That team rallied around.
Oh, the end of set 2, you see the right ankle here. She already had 8 kills in this match, hitting nearly 400. She is their number 1 attacker. This was the scene yesterday. Did not expect to see her return. We are very surprised, but maybe not surprised. The absolute heart of a champion in Lauren Dreves. There she is in pre-match.
Yeah, the scene yesterday, the scene today, wildly contrasting views. She's going to give it a go, look pretty good in warm-ups. With more on Auburn and their preparations for this match, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, Leah Edmond.
The official status for Lauren Dreves is that she will be starting, so we will see her on the court tonight. It'll be interesting to see her with Belle Zimmerman and Liz Markowska after their performances last night. But on that Kentucky side, you have 2 of the best outside hitters in Brooklyn DeLay and Eva Hudson on the court. They are the highest scoring duo in the country. The 2024 and 2025 SEC Players of the Year. They are absolutely lethal of a combination. Both 6 rotation outsides. You never get a break with them. Once one goes to the front row, the other goes to the back row. They can score from any position on the court. They're a hard duo to stop, and Auburn might have their work cut out for them.
A look at Eva Hudson out on the floor, the transfer from Purdue. What a season she's had. Brooklyn DeLay opposite her on the floor, number 7 and 17. Love the symmetry there. 2 of the best outside hitters in the nation ready to go here in the first match of 4 for the SEC tournament today. Thanks for being with us. Beautiful set to the outside. Right over the top goes DeLay. That's the play as they practice it in warm-ups on the first rally. The libero dish into the outside. Another nice dig by Tuzzo. DeLay a second push. Dreves with a tough test early, couple of swings. Will she get it a 3rd time? Another diving save for the Tigers. And finally a block for UK.
So not only is Dreves back on the floor, but she takes 3 swings in the first long rally. No rest for Lauren Dreves. I love the fact that Lauren DaCosta came flying in out of the backcourt to pick up the roll shot and save her a few steps.
Yeah, Alexis DaCosta in her final match, perhaps yesterday, came all the way down to the last few points. A big reason why the Auburn Tigers are still on the floor in her career is at least this match longer. Big pen right side. Little rolled over the top. Here comes Dreves. A lot of work early. She'll try and chip the block. Not quite there. UK scrappy early. Something that Brent Crouch expected, and that is proving true. Said it's tough to beat a digging team. Out of the back, Markowska. Dug by Tuzzo. And lightning quick to the middle. Kennedy Washington with the kill.
We expect a lot of balls, Doug, when you have Kentucky out on the court, and this match is proving us right early. Cassie O'Brien there in right back, able to play that one up after it's chipped off the block. Hard ball to stay with when it changes direction like that.
Tuzzo to serve, 26 aces on the year, and you see why on serve number 1. That's a winner.
Tuzo low and hard right over the top of the tape, drives it at Markovska. Also the setter for Auburn coming out of that right back area creates a little traffic jam. It can be hard to receive in that area when the setter's releasing.
Tuzo into that same space. Better pass this time. Dreves outside in rhythm, and that looks just like number 2, who we've seen all year. Lauren Dreves, just shy of 400 kills on the year. What a tremendous sophomore campaign. And the difference, Markovska nails the pass there, and so you saw how fast the tempo was to the pin, gives them an opportunity to beat that Kentucky block. Dreves first team all SEC, and there's how you deal with an overpass. Kate Mansfield, thank you. It has been a topic of conversation for us here at the table, the redirect on the overpass versus the swing. We happen to be big fans of the swing, and Kate Mansfield does it well. It was 4 sets last time these two teams met. Auburn winning the second 25-18. The belief that they can play with these top teams is something Brent Crouch pointed to with their matchup with Kentucky, but also Texas, who they pushed by. Now, he said the problem is sometimes it takes us a few sets to find that rhythm and to feed that belief. They're down 0-2 at Texas before they're able to push it all the way into a 5th set. He said once we get into it, it's as though the light goes on and these players realize, oh, we can play at this level. Molly Brezowitz with the serve, and that will be just long, part of the Littles crew, the back row for Kentucky. She'll stay in alongside Molly Tuzo in reception. As you look at Craig Skinner, the only coach to have coached in this tournament previously. It was his very first year 20 years ago. And in that season, it was a harbinger of things to come. 17-12, a berth to the NCAA tournament. They've only done that every single year since under Craig Skinner. National title in 21, blocked there. Back-to-back nice plays by Kate Mansfield at the net. And Auburn can be a very hot blocking team. And Coach said often these blocks come in pairs or in bunches. And if they can get hot, it's a quick way for Auburn to score some points. Delay, bad pass, ball is too tight, good reset. Didn't get much back the second time. Same result here. Markovska with a push. That's a big high touch off the block. The powerful swing on the outside by Brooklyn DeLay. Brent Crouch is going to have to deal with that. Graduate of A&M in 1998, a master's and a doctorate in philosophy, a teacher and a coach. Started at St. Mary's under Rob Browning, arrived at Auburn from USC. He's brought a new level to the Plains, 2 20-win seasons and 2 berths in the NCAA tournament, as well as a victory. He continues to help redefine what Craig Skinner set out as the norm for this conference. Inside, DeLay with the dig. Right on the money, leaving an opportunity for Hudson. DeLay coming in with a defensive contribution as well, more than 2 digs a set. Yeah, and as Leah alluded to, the active pair of outsides in the country in terms of hitting production. Let me translate. There are not 2 players on the court on any other team who produce more offense than what you're going to see from the pins from Kentucky. Hudson and DeLay. You're looking at the very best. Hudson back to the front row. DeLay back to serve. Real deal from the jump. SEC Player of the Year last year in the USA National Team pipeline. A woman with a long career in this sport ahead of her if she wants it, and she issues the ace there. That'll be her 18th, 3rd on the team coming in. Little miscommunication there as Brooklyn DeLay just drops one in. Again, the setter coming out of the back row, the hitters stacked to the left. Lots of movement in the serve receive for Auburn causes that. 4-0 run. Markovska out of the back makes it 5-0 for Kentucky. And Brent Crouch got to be thinking about it. Indeed, he was ahead of me. 9-4, the lead for Kentucky. Auburn on the defensive immediately. They'll stall out. We'll be back to Savannah. Those bracket slap moments are so special. Ole Miss moving on again. Vandy as well, very first season for that program, and what a finish they are crafting to that story as they continue into the 3rd round. Kevin Barnett alongside Missy Whittemore, Leah Edmond here in Savannah, Georgia. We've been with you yesterday and the day before as this 16-team tournament takes shape, with more on Auburn and their start here. Hey, Leah.
high. The big thing in Auburn's huddle right now is just staying the course and getting swings. He thinks right now they're tipping way too much. They see what Kentucky's giving them from a defensive standpoint, not to get discouraged that they're digging a bunch of balls, which is something Coach mentioned to us in pregame.
Yeah, that can be frustrating, Missy. Brent felt like it was an advantage at the net where they should feel free to swing, not the best blocking team, Kentucky.
Yeah, but what happens then is Kentucky's defense, their ability to dig balls time and time again, can frustrate an attacker and end up causing errors as you feel like you have to do a little more with it. That'll frustrate a team as well. The constant threat of delay out of the back row, Hudson out of the front row, never goes away. You see the thumb down, wrist away as she finds the corner there.
Excellent change of direction. Ava Sarafa in to serve. Setter, who early on was the starter, puts that one into the net. Actually had 43 assists running the 5-1 against Nebraska. 3-2 match earlier this year. UK's had a number of those big moments. They have met most of them. That's their only 5-set loss. It was on August 31st in Nashville. They had 5-set wins over Louisville, Florida, and Oklahoma. Deep float, and that's out. What's allowed UK to find these moments where they've had success? As you look at Brent Crouch's frustration.
Yeah, I like the look on his face, because as we talked to him this week, this is a team who really, Coach Crouch said to us, I think I'm the only coach left who thinks service errors matter. So we are living in a state of volleyball now where people are so aggressive from the service line, and I obviously understand that strategy, but for Coach Crouch, he's not quite on board. And you saw their ace to error ratio. They're better than 1-2, which is pretty rare in this age of volleyball. And he just said, it still really matters to me. And his philosophy on serving, he said, I have a two-part philosophy. The worst error, number one, is to miss a serve. And then he said the second worst error is an easy serve. So you understand that tightrope you have to walk. He doesn't want them missing. He doesn't want to be reckless, but he understands the need to be aggressive. And so a little bit, if you're one of those fans out there who hates service errors, like I know most do, Brent Crouch is your new favorite coach because he's right there with you.
Strategy to serve short is what UK is putting on Brent Crouch's Auburn Tigers at the moment. Seen a couple of them, this time from Cassie O'Brien, the freshman setter who's taken over out of Katy, Texas. Came in around spring season. He's the baby of the family. Said, I grew up around the game. My sisters made me strong. Another short serve. And that soft one does go. Edson at the controls. We wondered what they would do here given the play of now incoming Belle Zimmerman yesterday. Zimmerman with a tremendous match.
Absolute heroics.
Career high 20 kills.
I mean, as a senior, she and Markovska, who you see there on your screen, 20 kills apiece for the seniors in the absence of Lauren Dreves, just willed this team to a victory.
We thought they might stick with a 5-1, so they're in that traditional 6-2 as Hudson knifes that ball right down the line. Led the Big Ten in kills per set a season ago. Hit 287 though. Good number, not necessarily great this year. 316, that's a great number.
Wow, O'Brien putting it right in the window there, and you saw the line shot open.
That one's into the donut and down. Counts kill for Grace Havlicek.
Good job of finding the middle there for Auburn. Create a little offense, because right now errors have been the issue. 5 kills as they go +1 there. 5 kills now on 4 errors after that swing from Grace Havlicek.
Relay has it off the net, fed to the middle anyway, and it is long off the right hand of Lizzie Carr.
You see Cassie O'Brien into the middle of the court, trying to force the middle just a little. Not a bad decision there. Oftentimes that block releases to the outside, expecting the set to the outside.
Better pass this time, right back to Carr. Yes, indeed, up high, and that's a kill for number 15.
And I thought it was interesting as we talked to Craig Skinner this week, that particular set right there, the 31, a fast ball, about 3 feet above the net, quick, away from the setter. He said he thought that was the most important set, to establish that, to open up room for all the other hitters front row and back.
Tuzzo back to the line, ace down the line the first time. Zimmerman handles it. Got a lot of passing reps yesterday and a lot of hitting reps for Dreves have been the normal. She flies in and feeling good, looking good, number 2.
This feels like a double quick. It comes so fast, and instead of sitting their middle behind, they overload the block. So you see Kennedy Washington there trying to stay with the middle and Havlicek, and then the ball so fast over her shoulder.
Well, spin turn there. Good block to start. Zimmerman with one touch, helping the middle. Can't quite come up with it. Excellent block work by Zimmerman.
And notice both middles for Kentucky getting in on the action on that 31 set. They go to that early in matches. Kennedy Washington, 10 there in white for Kentucky, was not in this matchup. The first meeting between these two teams on October 15th, it was a 3-1 Kentucky win in Lexington, and Kennedy Washington did not play in that one. We have seen that theme throughout the tournament, and it speaks to the depth of these rosters that different players over the course of the season have been used. Wow.
That swing there speaks to the talent of number 17, who put 17 on the board. Cross court, Brooklyn Delay with an exclamation point. Kentucky leads. Auburn, timeout again. Hudson coming over. At Purdue, she averaged 1,400, over 1,400 attempts, efficiency 262. Here, much less usage in this singular season at Kentucky, 975, but her best season ever.
Yeah, isn't that interesting that the number of looks go down over the course of a single season and the efficiency goes up. Now, a big piece of that is the fact that she's playing opposite of Brooklyn Delay. So she doesn't have to take as many looks. It actually benefits her. It benefits Delay as well. They both have more in-system looks. They don't have to clean up all the trash. They're both used out of the back court. Teams have to prepare for both of them. You know, you think, you only can have one superstar on a team. Not the case at all. This team is all the better for having these two play opposite one another.
Yeah, you have to have two these days, preferably three, to get after the ball. One of them can be a middle. That's fine, but if you have three really good pins, that is a prescription for success.
Well, we talked about the fact that that duo produces more than any other duo in the country. And if you look at the second and third duos across the country, it's actually left side, right side hitter combos, which is interesting because at Kentucky, it's the two set left sides. And in out-of-system situations, the game lends itself towards setting the left pin. So it's really in Kentucky's favor that their two left side pins are the ones producing all that.
On the other side, same story. Two left side pins that are the main power for Auburn. That ball goes by. And right side backslide attack of number 10, Kennedy Washington.
And for Kentucky, there has been a bit of a question, who is that third attacker? You talk about needing two all-stars, maybe a third. And Kennedy Washington coming on strong at just the right time.
Yeah, you start searching for attempts and rhythm, right? Because Brooklyn Delay has 961 attempts as she redirects that ball. And Hudson has 975 attempts. Doesn't leave a ton for everyone else. Excellent read by DaCosta. With the calmness of Hudson in the back row there, as Kentucky again extends the rally, and that ball hits the antenna and is out. Point Auburn.
Line shot is there. Brooklyn Delay just a centimeter off as that one grazes the antenna on its way over.
Rare miss in execution here in the first set, where Craig Skinner's Wildcats have kept the Auburn Tigers to below 100 in terms of efficiency, and that ball's got to be in if you're going to make a comeback. Used to play a fun mascot battle between what the mascots looked like and who would win. Here we definitely have a brawl. A lot of claws.
Yes, we do.
Oh, nice stab there. That'll be hittable, or at least resettable. Dreves, second time, high, tight. Back row, left for Delay, and again, she goes to that wrist away right side.
And boy, it is just so difficult as a middle blocker on the opposing team. She starts to go to her right, thinking Hudson, and then the change of direction, she dives back into her left, and that is why Brooklyn Delay has so much success with that thumb down, wrist away swing. She's swinging away from that block.
UK all about the short serve. Markowska comes flying out of the back row and terminates that ball. What's good about the short serve in this case? What can it cause your opponent to do?
Well, as Auburn's having to come up, it jams up some of their patterns in terms of offense. And I also wonder about the fact that trying to put a little pressure on Dreves and force her to have to move. If she has to come up to pass back then to get her full approach, it's just more and more on her ankle as well.
Hudson with the roll there. They'll drop that one in. Ava Sarafa will return. That serving roll. Up to the front row goes Lizzie Carr. She is, in fact, third in kills. Carr, that middle blocker, behind Hudson and DeLay. Again, short serve. Platform out, transition swing. Second play by DaCosta in the rally. Good idea, just missed out of the back row. Another point for Kentucky, fairly efficient here in the first set, 23-12.
DaCosta was such a nice read as she saw Hudson trying to drop one into left front there and ran right through that.
Kentucky is a team hitting just under 300, dropping the ball short once again.
That short ball taking away any middle approach for Auburn allows the Kentucky blockers to be able to release quicker to the pin and get a good block up.
Love the aggression right now of DaCosta to take those balls, to identify early and just go wherever they are.
Absolutely. Yeah, the pass has been on. If anything, it's just taking away the space in the middle of the court for the middle to be able to approach.
Hudson, perfect pass, delay, right side, heater. Eric Sullivan, you watching?
The efficiency of Hudson and DeLay out of the backcourt. Not a number that we have in front of us, but just on fire right now.
Set point, Wildcats. Setter, Cassie O'Brien with it. Left side, down the line. Markowska with the kill and the fire.
And you see the speed of the attack once again, whether it's Dreves or Markowska in system, they are just so fast from the left side.
Liz Markowska, redshirt senior after 3 years at Cal Poly. Nearly 400 kills in her sophomore season. Second set point here. That one's fast into the middle, but it's a block from Zimmerman. There'll be a third chance here for UK to close.
Nice help there for Zimmerman, lined up on the right side. But with Hudson coming from behind, she's able to release there a bit.
Right back to it. This time success on that three ball. Right between the gap in the blockers. Number 1 seed making a statement. They are +10 in the first. Auburn acquitting themselves well. We've seen them rally before. We'll see how they come out for set number 2.
Of the attack, Brooklyn DeLay comes out and gets it done with 5 kills, already on 15 swings, hitting 200. And we've seen her work the entire court with that wicked arm. And then more on that wicked arm. Let's go to Leah.
The big thing that's working right now for Brooklyn DeLay is what we call a thumb down shot. Auburn is completely taking away her line, so she has more cross court. So when she's going up to swing, she's taking her hand, hitting the left side of the ball and bringing her thumb down to her right side. By doing that, that's how she's getting those really sharp angles, aiming around the 10-foot line.
She was definitely hitting some sharp angles and changing the direction of the ball at the point of impact to success for her side. Wildcats hit 297 in the first set, 111 for the other side. Lauren Dreves in the match for Auburn. 2 kills on 15 swings. Asked to do a lot immediately from the jump.
Yeah, first rally. She takes 3 swings in that long rally. And 15 already, but she looks great. We did not expect her to see on the court today. After going down and toward the end of that second set yesterday, her team comes back without her to reverse sweep their way into these quarterfinals.
Brent Crouch could not say enough good things about Nate Warner, his athletic trainer, that he's the best I've ever worked with in a hugely important position, and that has been markedly true in the last 24 hours working with his star outside attacker.
Yeah, just great work to have her ready to go.
Second meeting for these teams on the year. It was a 4-setter in which Markowska hit negative territory for Auburn. She's off to a better start this time, 182. They had a hard time stopping Hudson and delay last time. They combined for 44 kills in that match. And it might prove true again. Thigpen trying to get on the action. Instead, she is stuffed by Dreves. And you gotta love the fire from 2 and 25. Wish that 25 had a couple more years to go here and you could keep that pairing on the floor.
No kidding. And Markovska, we thought for a moment she would be sitting on the bench alongside Dreves as she all-out effort flies into the boards here in the end zone, trying to save a ball. A scary moment for her as well. But she was able to continue play yesterday. And as you said, just quite the dynamic duo. Unfortunately, this will be the conclusion of her collegiate career this year.
Yeah, I thought her last name might have been Scattaboo after that play.
Yes. Get her a helmet.
Right side, nice angled attack. Zimmerman, who was the hero with those 20 kills.
I definitely think for Auburn in the second set, more Zimmerman at this point, because they asked a lot out of Dreves coming off of that injury. Lots of swings from her, and Belle Zimmerman found a groove yesterday when she was moved to the left side, 6 rotations, swinging really confident. I think they could give her a few more looks in the second set. Yeah,
and as we discussed perhaps before, leave her there in the match. Give her those 6 rotations, use her out of the back row, switch it up. Short, and that'll do. Brooklyn delay with a very smart shot over the top of the Auburn defense.
And when you've had the success that she had in set 1 with all those big rips coming at the defense, she's got them on their heels now, and her ability to see the court, drop one short, make that defense guess.
Auburn was concerned about coming out with confidence, proving they can play with Kentucky. Didn't happen in the first, could happen in the second. I mean, that looked like a block, could have been an attack. Auburn making a pay. Dreves electric on that one.
There's some confidence. How about that swing? And you just see the block waiting and the speed of the ball out of Pitt's hands. No one closing there for Kentucky.
Yeah, and Cassie O'Brien afterwards slapping her hands together in frustration. That's exactly what you want to see.
Yep.
Get the blocker to start chasing the last play as that ball is off the hands, out of bounds. And indeed, guess who's in the front row here? Missy Whittemore.
Yeah, the setter.
Setter
for Auburn. And look who's in the back row, Zimmerman. So they are going to go with a little bit of a 5-1 here. They switched into the 5-1 yesterday out of necessity when they were short a pin player. Today, giving it a try for just a different look here. Maybe Zimmerman out of the backcourt can provide a spark.
Hudson with the play front row. This will be tipped, and that is some open court. Yeah, you may hear 5-1, 6-2 if you're just joining the volleyball universe here. 6-2 is where you're actually going to play 2 different setters and 2 different opposites. And each time the setter rotates to the front row, you'll bring in a fresh opposite. And a setter for the back row keeps you bigger at the net. The 5-1, you're going to have an attacker who comes out of the back row right here. It's Zimmerman. Going cross court, and that's a winner, and you leave your setter across the front row. A couple of things that you need in a 5-1, Missy. What are they? If you're going to run it, what do you need from your setter position? What do you need from your opposite position?
Well, in your setter, you're going to need someone who's not a huge liability across the front row. I mean, she's going to have to become a blocker. So if she's not tall, does she at least provide you some steady hands up at the net blocking? Good distribution. You got to have the attackers. You're going to have 3 rotations of 2 attacker rotations. So are those 2 attackers able to carry that load? And particularly if you're able to leave the right back in across the back row and not use a back row sub, can she become a threat out of the back row is key.
Well, Zimmerman has 1 kill out of the back row here. As they switch to that alignment, that 5-1, good pass to the back one. 2 blockers up, pancake is good. Don't let Markovska get up on top of the net. She will feast, Thanksgiving style.
But you can see against a team like Kentucky, this is a team who we expect to be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, how hard it is to kill balls. It takes 2, 3, 4 swings. The defense of Kentucky, even if the block numbers aren't huge, their ability to dig balls out of the backcourt. And that was a concern of Brent Crouch coming into this match. He said it's hard to beat their dig.
Backslide is good. Kentucky with a nice efficient side out. Once again to Lizzie Carr. Looking at the tournament resume here, number 5 in RPI ranking. They have an excellent record, 4-2 against the top 25. This is a team that is bound for the NCAA tournament. Are they a national championship threat for Craig Skinner again this season?
Undoubtedly. I completely believe they are, because their strength is at the left pin. And let me remind you, who won the championship a season ago? The championship just a season ago was won by Penn State, a bit of a surprise. Where was their strength? 2 dominant left sides. When that is the strength of your team, game favors you, and that's the way that this Kentucky team is built.
Miss side out there, the back row violation from Zimmerman. Markowska out of Menifee, California, now in a redshirt season, shoves that one down and through. She's been on a tear here at the end of her collegiate career. 20 kills versus Texas, 17 versus LSU, and 20 yesterday in the victory over Oklahoma.
And that was a crafty one, kind of a bit of a hang time, late swing, forces it through the block on the way down.
Right back at him comes Kentucky. Just how good was Markowska yesterday when they needed her? They went to that third set, and she had to be good. She had 6 kills in the set, and they won 25-21, then 25-23 in the fourth, and 15-13 in the fifth. Zimmerman back to the front row, big swing. Nice help there. Markowska with Havlicek, another good touch. Can they run it down? Markowska can.
Of course she can.
Outside to the pin, roll shot. That's not gonna go. Dreves will heat it up. A push, underneath it is DaCosta. Longest rally of the match, taking shape and then put away by Asia Thigpen. All SEC freshman team a year ago.
And this is a bit deflating for Auburn, I feel like, because this really long rally, you hang in there, and then the least likely of attackers doesn't get that many looks for Kentucky, and it's Thigpen who comes up huge. You have to stop everyone when you're playing the Wildcats.
High flat, delay looking for it, not getting the call. That'll end a 4-1 run. Craig Skinner, I love Craig Skinner for one reason, I mean many reasons. He's seated. He's staying on the bench. He's done his work. He's not in the right front for his team right now.
Hayes in the barn.
Yeah, too many coaches are out in the left or right front all the time. Good touch here. Zimmerman will transition off. Dreves, Doug, too tight to the net. A little short court game being played there. There's more of a big court swing by delay.
And if you're wondering, Lizzie Carr, 15 in white for Kentucky, is 6 feet 6 inches tall. You see her here covering delay. No coverage necessary on that swing as she cuts it inside the block. But Lizzie Carr, her agility to play so many off-speed shots up at the net at 6'6", she is light on her feet.
10-7. That ball is blocked down. Yeah, not 6'6", but 6 feet tall. Quick Kennedy Washington with the hands, number 10.
Yeah, interesting. The middles for Kentucky, very different players. You have the height of Lizzie Carr and you have the agility of Kennedy Washington. 2 very different middles. And also the fact that Cassie O'Brien has to be able to set both of them on that quick attack. It's going to be a very different looking ball.
There's another nice delivery from Pitts into Havlicek. If you're looking for a comparison, an analog to a 6'6" player in the sport of women's volleyball, you're looking at a 7-footer on the men's side or on the basketball side.
Yeah.
Speaking of people's grandfathers, as Havlicek goes off.
Yes.
John Havlicek.
A name you might recognize.
There's a block from Zimmerman, who continues to impact the game here. Belle Zimmerman, 2 kills, 3 digs, and now 2 blocks. Short serve, overpass, a little too far to hit. Transition, Zimmerman got it.
And I like the 5-1 right now for Auburn. It feels like they're finding a real offensive rhythm. Pitts there reversing the flow, that off-speed pickup toward the left side, and she goes quickly behind, reverses the flow there to Zimmerman with the big angle swing. They've
scored 3 in a row, and Sydney Hondal is in to serve. They will utilize different libero jerseys throughout, different sets. And that's definitely going to be an overcall. No. That will be a back row violation. That's how it's been called throughout the tournament. So back row setter violation from April Frick, our R1. Will Stanley is on the R2.
Setters haven't gotten that call often. It's been consistent throughout the tournament.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Aggressive swing from Big Pen that time.
Big Pen with the heavy arm, not a big player, but the heavy arm typically into the angle. That is her shot. Auburn knows it. They're on it. Now it's a matter of controlling it. She has the ability to go high off that block.
Yeah, Big Pen exits, and they'll put in some serve and passing support with Molly Brzezowicz. Perfect pass in rhythm, almost unstoppable at that pace. And again, frustration from the super freshman Cassie O'Brien.
And this combo play that Auburn likes to use. Look at Mansfield out in front of the setter. Middle blocker Washington stays with her, and in a split, less than a second. I'd love to know the speed on that set out to the left pin.
Cassie O'Brien, you're in the popcorn popper right now.
Yes.
That ball's too tight and over. Put away by Kate Mansfield. So guess who's figured out they can play with the big dogs here.
Yeah.
Just as Brent Crouch had hoped, his squad with a lead. Seeds 1 through 4 into the tournament today. Auburn on a 6-1 run right now, still powered by Zimmerman serving. That's way too far. It's been an interesting 3 days, Missy. We started with 16 teams. We had 4 matches. That was 9 through 16. Then we went to 4 out, 4 in as the middle pack joined, including Auburn. And then we added in the top 4 today.
And even more interesting, in our side of the bracket, the seeds have held. But you will see in the evening session, that has not been the case. Number 15, Vandy, still at the party, along with number 14, Ole Miss.
Yeah, the dream could continue for one of those 2 teams in our afternoon matches. We're going to have Kentucky and Auburn, the remainder of this one. Technical timeout coming up shortly here. And then we'll have our second match. Florida Gators will be in action there against Tennessee, the Lady Volunteers. There are the Gators. They're already in-house, getting ready.
And they've had the challenge of being that second match where you don't know exactly when the one in front of you is going to end. And it's a challenge, and yet it's a great precursor to the NCAA tournament, where if you make it to that second round, the regional, you could very well be in that situation again.
We could very well find ourselves in a 1-1 tie if the second half of this second set goes Auburn's way. They lead at the technical timeout, 15-14. Welcome back. Here's our featured SEC Network men's basketball matchup. 12th ranked Kentucky 4-2 hosts Tennessee Tech Wednesday night at Rupp Arena. Coverage begins 7 Eastern, 6 Central. You can also watch it on the app. And a great tie-in here for UK basketball. You've already seen Lizzie Carr out here making a difference at the middle for Kentucky. Her brother Andrew, they overlapped for just 1 semester as she transferred. He was starring at that time for the Kentucky Wildcats in his 5th season.
Now in the G League for the NBA, but what a fun semester for her to spend that final year of his career at Kentucky, for her to be there alongside him.
Yeah, Lizzie has 3 brothers, very close family, and always fun to have your sibling at the same school. That ball is knifed down the line and popped up. Markovska might be the fastest player on the court when it comes to chasing down a second contact.
And the use of Brooklyn Delay out of the back row, the communication between she and Cassie O'Brien, that time coming out of right back. We see her coming out of middle back. The use of Brooklyn Delay all over the court. 26 swings today for Brooklyn Delay. Eva Hudson only 9. So interesting in the game plan here.
Another nice dig, powerful transition, this time cross body. Delay, now back to the wrist away. Auburn starting to pick up some of the scrappiness that we've seen from Kentucky. Both sides making plays defensively, and that can't be quite run down. But Auburn matching that defensive intensity.
They are. Eva Hudson, in only her 10th swing on the day now, has 6 kills, but no surprise when Molly Tuzzo is scooping balls up in the back row. I mean, that's her MO constantly. But, you know, Eva Hudson is not too far removed from a little ankle scare that she had just a couple weeks ago. And I think the ball distribution today by Kentucky was very interesting because we understand there's a lot of wear and tear at this point in the season. And Kentucky, as we have said, is protecting a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. They have aspirations of playing volleyball for quite a bit longer this season. And so you do wonder about that ball distribution, maybe try to take a few jumps off Eva Hudson's plate.
That ball into the net. Leah, you know a little bit about this injury that Missy's mentioning.
Yeah, we were doing that game, and she actually came back on the court and was shocked that she wasn't starting the second set and was quite angry with Coach Craig Skinner after that, but they found a way to get her in after just keeping her in the front row, but definitely wanted to compete and was shocked that she wasn't playing even after the injury.
Yeah, you love the fiery competitor in her, an elite athlete, and that's been a big part of it. Markowska, very similar in attitude on the other side, gets the kill there, but for Kentucky, Craig Skinner said, UK volleyball's not for everybody.
Yes, he did.
You have to be a pretty special human, committed to what it takes to be a part of that team, to progress on that team, in addition to all the other responsibilities of being a student athlete.
And he said we recruit the who and the what.
Kentucky is challenging that there was a net fault in the middle of the rally.
All right, so we'll look back in the middle of the rally here as Craig Skinner is looking for a point off of his challenge. Both teams get 2 challenges to begin the match. If you're correct on your challenge, then you get an opportunity to keep it as we go inside our SEC video review powered by Hawkeye. You and the referees are looking at the same thing as, is that hair or is that a body part? That's the question.
I think that's... No,
hair will not produce a violation.
I think it's her lower back.
Right on the hip. Maybe the hip on the bottom of the net.
I think so.
After review, the call is going to be reversed. Kentucky will win the point and retain their challenge.
Put it in the score sheets. We have Brooklyn DeLay with 10 kills, Eva Hudson with 6, and we will give a point to Craig Skinner for his challenge. And Kentucky maintains lead here in the second set. They were dominant in the first 25-15. Here, Auburn has raised their level. Zimmerman, one attack. She'll get it right back. A little higher swing this time. Trying to go off the hands. Good idea. And an even better idea from DeLay, who pushes out on 1.
Brooklyn DeLay. Sometimes it's just not fair.
Kentucky off and running. A lot of support here inside in Market Arena. They're bouncing around and feeling it. Timeout called by Auburn.
Coach Craig Skinner told us coming into this tournament, the most important thing was how mentally tough you could be, because he said, these opponents know all your weaknesses. Can you overcome that? Can you be patient over the course of this tournament? And yet, I think when you're playing Kentucky, all those weaknesses, I think all is a strong word, because where are the weaknesses? If you ask their opponents, I think they're trying to identify weaknesses of this Kentucky team. It is a difficult thing to find weaknesses.
Yeah, increased strength this season for UK. Let's listen to Craig Skinner.
Move the feet if we're going short, just to the 10-foot line. Doesn't be 5-foot line, but it can't be 15 feet off the net, okay?
All right, catching the tail end of that. It was some weaknesses last year for a team that went 23-8, 14-2 in the SEC. Another top shelf season under Skinner, but they couldn't get over the top on some ranked opponents. They were 2-6 against ranked opponents last year. It was a regionals finals loss to Pitt, 3-0, 22-23, 17. DeLay had 22 kills, but they were out hit by Pitt, 333 to 167, 17 hitting errors to 2. This year they've reloaded and returned. It's been a much different story. They're 6-2 against ranked opponents this season.
However, one of those losses this season is once again to Pitt. That is a matchup that they've struggled with. Their other loss to Nebraska was a reverse sweep by Nebraska.
5 sets in Nashville.
This Kentucky team had Nebraska down 0-2. You know that's one they would like to get back. Or maybe they would just like a rematch, which we might see in the future.
Well, they did take down Louisville in the Yum Center on an away match. That was a good one. They defeated A&M and Texas in SEC play. As the SEC continues to assert itself as a conference in the world of volleyball, Markowska says that one was in. She had a great angle on it. Brent Crouch had a good look at it, as did the bench, and they told her, no, that ball was out. So now Now they trail by 4. Zimmerman well off, 9 feet. Down the line, that's a winner.
Tell you what, when your back's against the wall, this Auburn team plays even better. They're willing to take huge risks. You know, nothing to lose here. And that's what's scary if you're Kentucky. When they start swinging like there's nothing to lose. Big rip from Belle Zimmerman.
They had to do that yesterday, down 2 sets to Oklahoma. Roll shot. DaCosta again there. That ball is way too tight. Good idea, just missing the push is Zimmerman.
DaCosta, who missed the last couple matches coming into the tournament with injury. Coach said it was a sight for sore eyes when they got here to practice and saw her out on the court. She is a key contributor with her defense.
Yeah, Alexis DaCosta looking forward to a sports psychology future. Hey, she's open to work, everybody. On LinkedIn, she's ready. Libero for Auburn. Pick yourself up a top shelf libero and a sports psych.
All in one, complete package.
There she is, Alexis DaCosta, in her senior campaign. Made an immediate impact last year after transferring from Baylor. Had 25 starts, career highs in digs per set. And we've seen why already in this match. Off the block, out of bounds, delay another kill. That's 12. Only hitter in double figures inside the arena.
And that's a bit of a combo play by Kentucky there, similar to what Auburn does, where they keep their middle in front, go over her shoulder out to work from the delay. It's just not quite as fast, which I like for Kentucky. They've got the big leapers in Hudson and delay. There's no reason for them to rush the offense. They have the ability to be successful a bit higher ball.
Delay 7 kills in this set. Will she get another opportunity here? No, out of the back row, Hudson with the kill.
So it's been a heavy dose of delay out of the back row. And now all of a sudden, Kentucky switches gears. And when the block isn't expecting it, you see the release to the left side. And instead, Hudson down the middle, huge gap in the block.
Eva Hudson, just 7 kills. There's an ace issued as well. Only 7 kills, only 11 attempts, hitting 636.
No errors.
And dropping the ace in. Number 11 for Kentucky, Molly Brzezowicz. Well, they're winning the service battle here, 2 aces to none. Another timeout called by Auburn at set point. How is this going compared to perhaps expectations, Missy Whittemore?
You know, I'm just looking at the numbers, and if I'm Auburn and I see that I'm hitting 219 against Kentucky, not a terrible number,
right.
But they are not slowing Kentucky. Kentucky at 364 in this current set, and Kentucky with only 3 errors on the match. Auburn with only 5. So I think Auburn likes the fact that they're low error, they're attacking with decent efficiency, but right now the problem is how do you slow down this Kentucky offense?
Yeah, they did slow them substantially in the first meeting. Only hit 217 did Kentucky. That was at home, by the way. Problem, Auburn was limited to 146 in that match. That's a tough span.
And in order to hold them to that, Auburn had 16.5 blocks in that match. So I think, as Coach alluded to for Auburn, serving and blocking can be a real weapon for them, and we haven't quite seen that get going yet.
This has been quite a little spurt for Kentucky and Eva Hudson there. They led, Auburn did, 16-15. And in fact, 15-14 after technical timeout, they were carrying that distance. There's Alexis Stuckey and Florida as they're starting to think about how their warm-up might go as they look to face Tennessee. Another one of these compelling rematches from the regular season here in the SEC All-State Volleyball Tournament.
Compelling because Florida missed out by 1 match on a top 4 seed, meaning they had to play yesterday to work their way into the quarterfinals. Tennessee was that top 4 seed, even though Florida actually defeated them during the regular season.
Now it's our Trinity Ward with that ace. She'll go back again.
Oh, the middle passes it.
And the roll shot is good from Zimmerman. So Trinity Ward, 6th ace of the season, forced that time out there, the Kentucky native. Set point again for Kentucky here. It took them a few in the first. They've scored in Zimmerman's rotation, have Auburn. And nearly did there. Back row. Roll shot right into the middle. That one will go down. So they are again scoring a couple of points. This time they're a lot closer, 24-20.
And that time it is off of a good serve that got them ahead in that point. So there's some serving. Can they get some blocking going with it?
Still no aces for Auburn in this match. Zimmerman wanting to change that. Back row. Hudson finishes it off.
The back row attack for Kentucky, whether Hudson or DeLay, just continues to be lethal.
We knew it would be a 1-2 punch with Brooklyn DeLay, Eva Hudson. That has proven true. Hudson is 8 of 12, no errors. DeLay, a lot more work in that garbage position. 11 kills, 4 errors on 31. Asked to do a lot more with a lot less in some cases.
Yeah, and again, you wonder about the distribution, knowing the longevity of this tournament into the NCAA tournament, how they're choosing to distribute the ball.
Let's just go down to all the Wildcats on the sidelines. Leah.
Coach, you're up 2-0. What are you seeing from your team right now?
I'd like the response. You know, when Auburn got up 1, we just weren't putting enough serving pressure on them, so they're getting a lot of open looks on the left, and you know, finally got a couple really good touches by Asia on their outside hitters. So we got to continue to find ways to slow them down when they get in the rhythm, because the speed is just so hard to adjust to on the fly.
Last time that you were at an SEC tournament, you had hair. What is it like being back now without any?
Got to bring that up. What an event. You know, it's really cool to have this going on. The city of Savannah has welcomed the SEC in this event, and you know, the league has done a great job of making a cool experience for these student athletes. So let's really take advantage of this and show them some good volleyball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Craig Skinner, Leah Edmonds bringing the smoke. His team is up 2-0. Can they cruise to a 3-set victory here in the quarters? Georgia, we've been enjoying the boat traffic up and down the Savannah River in this incredible oldest city in Georgia, founded in 1733. Known for volleyball on this weekend, Kentucky over Auburn in the first 2 sets, convincingly in the first. More fight from Auburn in the second. Kevin Barnett alongside Missy Whittemore. Missy, interesting comment from Craig Skinner there, talking about how Auburn had gotten a lead. This game is really predicated on serving.
It is, and that's because of the fact that the block is so tied to the serve. You see that serve go into play, and if the pass is off the net, the block is going to be able to go ahead and release to the outside. And for Kentucky, that's been key, because he mentioned the speed of the Auburn offense. No way they can catch up to that on a perfect pass, but when they can serve well, the opposite being the case for Auburn as well. When Auburn has served well, you saw them have the ability to go up in this match, and sometimes it seems like a small thing, but it is literally the beginning of your defense when you put that serve in play.
33 digs for Kentucky, 27 for Auburn. Kentucky with a slight advantage there. It's kind of slight advantages throughout. UK with 3 aces, 0 for Auburn. A lot of the damage being done on the hitting side of the game. 333 UK there. You see in the second line. Auburn just 186. Will this be the final set for Auburn in this 2025 campaign? Remember, they are playing for the opportunity to get to the final. We think they might have a shot at an at-large. If they should win the final, of course, you win an AQ, an automatic qualifying spot to the NCAA tournament that will start the week after Thanksgiving. Another long rally to get us started in this 3rd set. That ball is on the line. Score it for Grace Havlicek. 2nd in blocks, 2nd in hitting percentage. Another fine season for the sophomore out of Florida. There's a look at the NCAA date selection show. That is Sunday, coming up after Thanksgiving. 1st and 2nd rounds in the regionals. That's an exciting time of year. The regional finals sending 4 teams to that final round.
And if you're not familiar with the tournament, when you see that word regionals, that is going to be the round of 16, the round of 8, and then national championships, 4 teams, and then your national final.
Yep, the national semifinals, followed by, of course, the championship match. Auburn, 2-0. Winning the long rallies to start. Big Pen. Oh, nice reaching touch. Mansfield, good handwork. I don't think you can tip on Kentucky too much. Got to take those swings. There's one coming right back at you from Hudson.
And if you'll notice, time and time again, whether it's Hudson or DeLay out of the back row, it's the thumb down, wrist away swing that Leah showed you earlier. Why is that? Because the blocker's first move is often to her right to go out and defend the left pin. And then she has to try to catch back up with that ball coming out of the back row. And so that's the open shot. Whether it's a Hudson or DeLay, they both benefit from having the other out on the court.
Greaves fights off the pass. Nice, clever back delivery to Mansfield. That was a beauty of a set from Chanel Pitts, transferred from Florida Gulf Coast for this season.
Yeah, and this Auburn team feels like they're very well situated for the future. That swing from Mansfeld, she's a sophomore. Opposite her, Grace Havlicek in the middle is a sophomore. This is a team that's building for the future, and they want this season to continue as long as possible for the experience. And that's why I think Coach likes this tournament so much. This is postseason experience for this group of Tigers.
Yeah, this is their postseason as they now take a 4-1 lead. They're going to have to replace Zimmerman and Markovska. That's not going to be easy.
No.
They do have Greer Chambliss, who is not available right now. Unfortunately, an ankle injury during the match against Texas.
Kentucky is challenging that there was a block touch.
As we look for a second challenge of this match, a block touch is what UK is looking for here. You are watching in the SEC video review powered by Hawkeye along with the referees. You're right in the replay booth, but also here in the arena, the crowd is making their own judgments, as is UK looking up. Do we even need him to say it?
After review, the call will be reversed. Kentucky wins the point and retains their challenge.
Thank you, William Stanley. Everyone else was with you. Craig Skinner, 2 for 2.
Challenge professional, Craig Skinner.
Delay to the line. Oh, nice deep float placed right to the back line. Easy for you to say. Backslide. Right down into the middle of the court.
One of the many things that DaCosta does well is the out-of-system setting that they get from her. Hangs a really nice ball to the outside. They have to slow that offense down just a little when it's out-of-system coming out of the back row, and that's okay with Dreves as she rotates to the back now. She was able to go up and get that one. And the ankle, by the way, looking strong today.
Yeah, excellent work by the crew, the training staff there. Get her ready to go. Zimmerman out of the back row with authority. That 5-1's definitely been the right move here.
Yeah, the 6-2 that we saw them in to start the match, no longer, because the 5-1 leaves Belle Zimmerman on the court for 6 rotations, and you get a little bit of that.
Now, there are a lot of ways to search for eligibility these days. Maybe you need to look back into Belle Zimmerman's background. Did you go to JUCO? Can we avoid those years?
Right.
Can we find some global pandemic or something? Can we get you another year?
I happen to know she's been
on the plains.
I happen to know she's been a mainstay at Auburn.
Well, she is playing exceptional volleyball here in the twilight of her collegiate career. Auburn 5-3. Carafa back into serve. Serving specialist was her role a year ago, fought for the starting job this year, and she'll stay at the line once again as her side scores. The Bloomfield Hills, Michigan native in her redshirt sophomore campaign, number 2 in white.
She has an interesting story where she shares about, getting the yips as a setter and just not being able to deliver the hittable ball, and how she really had to work through that and the support of her teammates and to get back out onto the court. So what a victory for her to be where she is at this point in her career.
Yeah, it was a toss-up early in the season. So who would lead the UK offense? Nice coverage here from Auburn. Big aggressive swing, and that is the right way to do it. What a change of direction at the attack point by Markovska.
Yeah, high, hard, moving it. This Auburn attack, I just like the way they swing hard. We've talked over the course of the season, you and I, as we've done some different matches, about teams who tip a lot, roll a lot. And we said that's not going to get it done for a championship. This is a championship weekend, and Auburn is swinging like it's a championship weekend.
Auburn playing some increased defense after that first set, trying to frustrate the Cats. They can't quite find that one. Looking at the postseason opportunities, UK obviously wants an SEC title. For Auburn, they are playing for their lives. Talking to Brett Crouch about the selection process, the RPI process, and what his tournament chances are. They're up in right around the 60 mark. They are at the 60 mark right now, Auburn, which means they have no shot at making the tournament. And every year, the tournament selection committee will tell you that RPI is just one factor, but every coach across the nation will tell you that is the only factor that tournament committee uses because they either use it as a factor by itself or they back into it by asking, how did you do against the top 25, which is an RPI thing. And they go into each of those categories, and it all comes down to one thing, and that is your scheduling.
Yeah, and he felt like the numbers are a little deflated in RPI for the Southeastern Conference this year. And he says, unfortunately, he feels like they will not get as many teams in as they did a season ago. However, he thinks there's several teams that passed the eye test that could be great contenders to be in the tournament. And I think we've seen a couple of them. You and I have seen Auburn, we've seen Oklahoma, teams that I would love to see competing in the first round of the tournament because I know they can give anybody in the country a good match.
Yeah, Carr with the kill there. Certainly they can. The eye test should be a bigger part of it. It is in the committee's hands. They could value things differently, but they have proven in years past, according to every coach you talk to, that the only thing they care about is RPI.
And that's why this tournament becomes so much fun. It is a great big opportunity to go get that automatic bid. So if you've got the game, come prove it. There's one spot open, and it will be taken on Tuesday by one of these teams.
Vandy and Ole Miss have heeded the call.
Why not us? Yeah, we got some Cinderella stories still alive in this tournament. You're not going to want to miss a single match.
16 teams to the tournament. Number 15 is Vanderbilt. Number 14 is Ole Miss. They have sent home 11, 10, 7, and 6. They're going to have to send home one of the top 4 if they're going to move on to the semifinal round, which will be coming tomorrow. And what a story it would be, too, to even make the final. You're playing 5 days in a row with a shot at the NCAA tournament. Here, Kentucky with an opportunity to sweep. Auburn playing for their season lives. Trying to extend careers for Zimmerman, looking for hands here, and she gets them.
Yeah, what a nice
seniors.
swing. Floating to her right, ball outside the antenna, and the wherewithal to go high off those hands. Look at this, outside the antenna, making something out of nothing. Well done, Belle Zimmerman.
Big Pen into the block and down.
And I think that's the frustrating one for Auburn right now because they're all over Thigpen in that angle swing, but she's got a heavy arm and she still is blasting through that block.
Asia Thigpen in her sophomore campaign, part of a group of Wildcats that spent May 2024 in Japan. It was an 11-day odyssey across the other side of the globe, an opportunity to see volleyball in a very different way and see a different culture. But they did find a little piece of home in Osaka. They went to the #1 UK cafe. The owner lived in Lexington 45 years ago.
No way.
Yeah, and has owned that cafe for 35 years.
That's fun.
Yeah,
wow.
Overseas trips are certainly something special for a collegiate athlete to experience. And for women's volleyball, it used to be the preview for a potential future to come. The only preview possible. Now,
Not
of course,
the case anymore.
Of course, there are American leagues now, the MLV, as well as League One Volleyball, about to get started for their seasons in January.
And if you're one of these teams like Auburn, RPI in the 60, and you could be staring at the end of your collegiate season, this tournament is also an opportunity for you to audition for the scouts of these major league volleyball programs across the country.
They are watching. It's going to be a couple more years for Dreves, just a sophomore. Excellence ahead for number 2. Continued excellence. Oh, net violations are going to negate that extension of the rally. And Kentucky creeps ever closer here. Remember, we went in the second set. The technical timeout at 15-14 Auburn. From there, it was all UK, including an ace late by Trinity Ward. Zimmerman, excellent blast. Markovska is stuffed. Turn and deliver, Cassie O'Brien.
And when we talked to Craig Skinner about freshman of the year in the Southeastern Conference, by the way, Cassie O'Brien, he said not only does she elevate our offense, but she is a threat at the net on any high tight ball. There it is.
Madeline and Courtney, sisters, jump out of your seats. What a play by the youngster.
There she is again.
Yeah, good touch. This time she'll be the off defender. Kept alive twice by Auburn. How about a third time? Not quite.
Not without a whack at it, though, and that's what I've enjoyed about this Auburn team. They go after everything.
Kentucky 3-0 to now lead. Top-level teams ask a ton of you. Auburn facing another test here. Markowska pass. Short set quickly to the outside. O'Brien with another stuff block.
Yeah, short string there to the outside. And you and I have talked about this. If you're going to go short string and keep it this fast, you make it really difficult on your attacker. Perhaps when you get close to the attacker like that, hang it up a little higher and give her some shots off hands.
O'Brien's second leading blocker for UK this year, coming in with 68. She's added a couple in the last few plays here to her season total. There's speed. How about a third? There it is. 3 for number 6.
Markowska at 6 foot tall, dealing with the 6'6" Lizzie Carr alongside Cassie O'Brien.
SEC Freshman of the Year, playing like an upperclassman. Craig Skinner, that is what he looked like then. How about now? Leah Edmond, there he is.
Every time I see this picture, it literally is the funniest thing ever, and I know all the former Kentucky Wildcats are getting a kick out of it just like I am.
Craig Skinner, one of the very good people in this game. You couldn't tell a terrific sport by his reaction from that question earlier from Leah Edmond.
One of the great ones to talk to in this game, and he is growing this game in a lot of ways, not only with the way his team is playing, but take a look at his coaching tree sometime and the number of former players who have played for him or coached along with him who are now head coaches or assistant coaches. Really incredible.
Well, I'll tell you what, that you see time and again as that ball is worked off the block out of bounds. Markowska scores and Auburn tries to stay close, but you see that time and again with players selecting now to come to the program. They will mention the fact that so many former athletes return as coaches because they love and trust Craig Skinner.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, you know, a great coach, as you can tell by the product on the floor, but a great human being.
Outside Hudson. Auburn almost had another opportunity to turn it. We'd be remiss we didn't mention the Nebraska assistant women's soccer coach, former at this point. Megan Beck told his wife, Beck told Skinner, they have 2 daughters, Sophie and Isabel, one of them there, and then son Eli. So building a family and a home over the last 20 years there in Lexington. 6-1 run for his side, looking to move on in their first match here at the tournament as they join us in the quarterfinals. Kevin Barnett alongside Missy Whittemore and 2-time SEC Player of the Year, Leah Edmond, enjoying what is now our 5th match of 6 on our duties here in Savannah, Georgia.
As we take you through the quarterfinals morning session today, there's our very own Leah, who will be leaving here to go restart her pro careers. We've talked about those professional leagues across the country. Catch Leah in Atlanta.
Yeah, direct to training camp. And maybe onto a professional career as Belle Zimmerman as well, as she cranks one down the line. You can't set it too fast as well.
Yeah, opportunity to swing without 2 blockers in her face makes it look easy.
There is a world of volleyball awaiting if you want to continue your career, not just those American leagues. There are so many opportunities to explore the planet and be a part of this game. As that ball is set to the right side, Zimmerman once again. Delay. Dug up. Auburn trying to get closer. And they do. Put it on the board. We're tied at 15. Leah.
Yeah, you were talking about the pro game, and I think it's so cool that you're in an experience now that a lot of these girls can dream to play professional. I know during my college career, staying in the States was not an option, wasn't even a thought, and so to know that they now have opportunities to continue playing and to do it in front of fans that have watched them since high school is so amazing, but also love the international experience. I think it's something that everybody should do. Volleyball in different countries is so amazing to be a part of.
What did you get out of that experience outside of America?
You learn really quickly about yourself. and what they expect. I mean, I talked about it this weekend. My first experience overseas, I got booed because I did not hit the ball over the net. So I learned that I'm supposed to be aggressive in all areas of my game overseas. But I just think you get an appreciation for playing with teammates who speak the same language as you. It kind of goes unnoticed when you have all English-speaking teammates. But when all my teammates are speaking Spanish and we couldn't communicate, all you knew was how to play volleyball together. And I think that's the really cool part about it. You still know how to play the game no matter what country or language you speak.
Oh, very good. Yeah, the overseas experience, I always tell people, is something you cannot get out of a book. And I agree with Leah 100%. You should go and do it. Even though it's available now here, at least once, you should go and do it for the betterment of yourself, for your exposure as a professional player, but more importantly, as a person.
Yeah, I can see the benefits of that for sure.
15-15. Auburn, are they in the final half set of their 2025 campaign, or is the Cinderella story going to take one more step towards putting on that slipper?
It was the reverse sweep yesterday. Plenty of heroics. Do they have some left?
Yeah, you climbed that mountain in front of you, but maybe that was Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be Mount Everest in front of you right now with the #1 seed Kentucky. We will see. Auburn getting some crampons on and going to head up the trail. Fast to the outside. They cannot pick up the tip there. Hudson continues a rather efficient evening or afternoon. 13 kills on 21 attempts, north of 600.
Without an error.
Yes.
Without an error. Are you kidding me? There's your SEC Player of the Year.
A serve, no. Just wide left. So this is our first match, #1 versus #8. And everyone's getting ready. Tennessee's going to take the floor for the first time in this All-State SEC volleyball tournament. And they're going to face off with #5 Florida, who looked physical and dangerous yesterday. We're looking forward to seeing that rematch from earlier in the season.
This Kentucky team had on their side of the bracket the only 2 SEC teams to push them to 5 this year. One of those being Florida, who is still alive. The other being Oklahoma, who was sent home in reverse sweep fashion by Auburn. But boy, when they took a look at the bracket, they had to have said, whoa, these are the 2 teams that pushed us the furthest. We could possibly play them both again. Pretty tall order to press our champions here.
Havlicek with a nice delivery from Pitts goes to 17 apiece. Play to 25, win by 2. Hondel. Delay through the block, got just enough. 18-17. Auburn has to keep pace here in the side out portion of the game.
And the block has not been a big point scorer today. For Auburn, we have 4 blocks on the match. For Kentucky, 5.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the numbers from that prior match, which went 4 sets. It was 16.5.
For Auburn, 14 for Kentucky in the first one.
Wild numbers, and just like that, Missy, they've had enough of your talk.
I order a block, and Brooklyn DeLay delivers on point. Absolutely no surprise that it would be Brooklyn DeLay who's done just about everything here today.
Stopping way short. Good recognition by number 17.
Look at that.
Dreves asking for it fast, getting it, and collecting another kill. So Dreves, good that she's even on the floor. 8 kills now for her. Markovska with 10. Zimmerman with 8 as well.
Yeah, and you see the advantage of the speed that time. We talked about a short string set, maybe raise it, but not there. Go ahead and shoot it to her, and she gets it done.
Kentucky stacked left. Giving the side out there, 20-18. Brent Crouch still has a timeout. I bet he calls it if they don't win this point right here.
Yeah.
Down 2, into the red zone. Well, they won't have to bother teams trading those errors.
Yeah, that'll help. Brooklyn DeLay with a lot of short stuff today, as we've seen them take the middle attack out, allow their block to go ahead and release early. Looked like she was going for something short.
DeLay, just a junior. National Player of the Year candidate, as is Eva Hudson. Another error the other way. So Auburn still trailing by 2. Had a chance to creep closer there. There is that timeout from Auburn. They'll use their second. Brent Crouch trying to hold off the end of the season. It's always tough when you come down to the end of your career and you see that possible change of scenery for yourself. Zoe Slaughter at libero, Belle Zimmerman, Alexis DaCosta, who's been exceptional again today, Sydney Handel, who we've seen in support for serving in this tournament, and Liz Markowska, who has been electric, energetic, and at times dangerous to the equipment.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That'll be a tournament moment for her, going into the barrier and luckily surviving.
Yeah, Markowska new to the squad this season as a transfer, but those Zimmerman, DaCosta now having come over from Baylor for a couple of years. Slaughter has been a big piece of the puzzle at Auburn for quite a while now. So those are some players who have really written their name in the record books there at Auburn as they've elevated this program. Did not make it to the NCAA tournament a season ago, but the 2 seasons prior to that were in the mix.
Yeah, 2 NCAA tournament berths in those 2 seasons and a playoff victory over perennial powerhouse Creighton. 3 sets to 2. They went down in the next round to Houston, but it was again 3 sets to 2.
Yeah.
Those first couple of rounds coming up first weekend in December. You do not want to miss the start. We know you're in for the finish, but be in for the start as well. There's always those first round upsets and teams that you want to follow and see their journey. Will Auburn continue to be that team you want to follow their journey in this All-State SEC volleyball tournament? Down to it. They need at least 6 here if they're going to extend their season, win this set, and force a 4th against the #1 seed.
As you mentioned, Markowska joining them from Cal Poly. Brent Crouch has had a great West Coast connection himself, coming from the West Coast. He's continued to bring great players from that region. As he said, he hopes they can continue to grow the sport in the state of Alabama, and he can recruit even more locally as well.
Ward misses that one long. Kentucky had been scoring with her at the line. They put up 4 points at the end of that second set. Ward out. Tuzzo in. Support from Brezowitz in terms of defense. Alongside Delay, he'll be in the middle back. That means Hudson's in the front. She'll get it now. That looked like a pretty nice set. A little too tight. Right side into the net and down. No timeouts remain for Auburn, UK. Up.
And that's exactly why you see just the easy touch shot over by Hudson. Just extend the rally. There's no reason to take a swing at a ball that's a little low and tight. And for Eva Hudson, still errorless on the day.
565 will do. Markowska flying in, hitting through the block and down. That through the hands of Thigpen.
See a little discussion there between Carr and Thigpen as they talk this one over. But she blasts right through the hands of Thigpen. She brings some nice offense. At times when Kentucky has needed a more defensive right side, they've gone with Jordan Daly. So they have options on this deep roster.
Auburn can get the tie here. There's a dig by Pitts. How about a swing? Yes, and a score. Deuces Wild in the third.
Off the edge, off the edge. And as you were just talking about this Auburn team and their experience in the NCAA tournament, one thing you said several times was 5 sets. So they are not going away yet. Here it is, off the edge again, getting the best of that Thigpen block.
Well, yesterday a lot of work, definitely a point of proof in their capability to come back. Another dig by DaCosta. Couldn't get the connection. They'll get another shot at it here. Where do you go? Right side, Zimmerman looking for hands, looking for the line. Got neither. Both were close.
And with most teams, when their top attacker goes back to serve, you say, okay, good news for Auburn. Eva Hudson has gone back to serve. That's not the case when you're playing Kentucky, because all that means is that Brooklyn DeLay has entered the front row. At
least for the moment she has. If the way it was called holds, Brent Crouch using one
Auburn
of his
is challenging
challenges.
that the ball was in.
He will challenge whether the ball was in or out. It was definitely close. Our replay officials will take a look. This one's going to be pretty fast, I think. Going to be at the net as you're inside the SEC video review. Obviously no touch. I mean, definitely a way to slow things down if you're Brent Crouch and you're out of timeouts already.
After review, the call is confirmed. Auburn will lose their challenge.
That was quick, so Auburn loses one challenge. They'll still have one remaining for action here into the end of the third and maybe the fourth. 23-22, must have for the Auburn Tigers. Markoska on the right. Kentucky with the transition, delay. Zimmerman getting a lot of action, dug up by Tuzzo. Back to Zimmerman once again. Looking for hands, too high.
And that's a great example of not being able to beat the Kentucky D. Molly Tuzzo standing in the angle and just perfect pass up to the setter again and again.
Match point. Thrown back and down. That'll do it. Kentucky, that should have been 4 contacts. There's the official end.
And instead, give Brooklyn DeLay another kill to end that one.
The referees let him play. Always could have gone back and reviewed it. So it does end up being another kill and another trip to a semifinal for Kentucky. They'll get the winner of Florida, Tennessee. That will be our second match. Greg Skinner has to be happy with the performance of his squad here in their first entry to this tournament.
And good for Auburn's future to see the fact that Lauren Drees, obviously not too severely injured, able to play on that ankle today. The future is certainly bright for her.
Eva Hudson, 13 kills, hits .520. Moving on in the bracket with the support of their fans who have traveled in here to Savannah. Kentucky into the semifinals, so they'll be looking forward to Monday. They'll be closely following our next match, Tennessee and Florida, in the top half of this All-State SEC volleyball tournament bracket. So Brooklyn DeLay with 15, Hudson with 13. They delivered on the promise of a 1-2 punch.
Absolutely, all that we expected.
And Lizzie Carr in with 8 as well. Player of the match, Brooklyn DeLay with our own Lee Edmond.
Here with Brooklyn DeLay, what do you think was working well for your team throughout that game?
You know, I think we've already played them once this year, but it was a while ago. So I think coming into this match, we knew it was going to be a completely new matchup. So I think just coming out strong and like knowing that they weren't